at BBC CWR. If you're staying home, if you're indoors, you can play along after 9:30. And when it comes to staying in, the staying in, or as Mickey Flanagan would have said it, the staying in, isn't there? And if you're staying in, you're trying to think of things to do, occupy your time. Talked a lot about sort of TV, box sets and stuff like that. James Luxford, our movie reviewer, is from the Radio Times newspaper magazine and Metro newspaper as well. James, hello, sir.
Hello there.
This is going to be weird, okay? James is normally in the studio with us every Thursday morning to preview movies. Naturally, because of the coronavirus, we've got you hooked up by a Skype link from your home in Stratford-upon-Avon this morning. And obviously the government advice is not to go to the cinema. So instead, we've got you to kind of recommend movies to watch at home over the weekend. And we've also now heard from Sky, haven't we, about what they're planning to do.
Yes, they've got all sorts of movies lined up, and of course we've got the new streaming service Disney Plus coming next week. So while things may be bad in the sort of physical cinema element, at home there's never been more choice, really.
Okay, so with that in mind, the best films to catch on the box this weekend, James. We're going to start with the Sony movies. This is available on Freeview, so you don't have to be a subscription provider for this. Freeview channel this weekend.
Yes, on Sunday at 12:40 in the afternoon, The Dead Poets Society, a classic story of a group of schoolboys inspired to seize the day by their teacher, played by the late Robin Williams.
A bunch of guys sitting around reading poetry.
No. Ding. Thank you for playing anyway.
What was the Dead Poets Society?
The dead poets were dedicated to sucking the marrow out of life. Spirits soared, women swooned, and gods were created. Not a bad way to spend an evening, eh?
It's a really uplifting movie, isn't it? And Robin Williams' character just sort of carries these boys along and just opens their minds to the way poetry can uplift them.
Absolutely. It's Robin Williams' best performance for my money, and one of his favourite films he ever made. It's an inspiring story. It's the one that when he unfortunately passed about 6 years ago, it's the one that people kept coming up with as the film and then the performance they remembered him most fondly for. It's sad in places, but also, as you said, incredibly uplifting. Great casting. Young Ethan Hawke playing one of the schoolboys as well.
Oh, Captain, my Captain, that bit where they all stand up on the desks. It's just really good stuff. Right, okay, let's move to something then rather more recent. I saw this at the cinema with my son towards the back end of last year, but this is actually out from Monday.
Yes, it's Le Mans 66 on DVD and digital and anywhere you get your home entertainment from Monday. The true story of Ford's fight to beat Ferrari at Le Mans.
Do you think you can beat Ferrari?
Rocket sure. We're lighter, we're faster. That don't work, we're nastier. We're gonna make history.
Yeah, Matt Damon, Christian Bale, who is just amazing in this movie, isn't he?
He's terrific, and it's won a lot of technical Oscars, and it's easy to see why. The way the races are recreated, the way the tension is built. Look, I'm not a car expert, but I think a sign of a good film is when it underlines and emphasizes how important this was to the people involved, and that's conveyed through two incredible performances. Christian Bale, as you said, as the driver. Matt Damon is the brains behind the operation. A really good drama, a lot of escapism, a lot of sort of dry humor in there, and a lot of great action.
And the Christian Bale Brummie accent is something to behold. It's just, I would say, better than many of the actors in Peaky Blinders. He's really kind of nailed it, and you've got to wonder who he's watched and observed and where he did that in order to get that so spot on. When in the very first scene you see him in, where he's sort of with a car in his workshop, he uses the phrase "round the reeking," and you think, well, what will American audiences make of that? Because that's such a Such a brummy phrase. And there's a bit where he's having a fight with Matt Damon and he shouts to his wife, "Can you get us some fizzy pop?" And you think that is, again, just such a brummy phrase. Two great performances. Le Mans 66. Something a bit more family related next, an animation.
Yes, as I said, the new Disney Plus service, sort of like Netflix for Disney, if you will, comes in on Tuesday, and with it comes Frozen 2, the sequel to the hit animation that sees Elsa and the gang journey to a far-off land.
What would I do without you? You'll always have me. Has Elsa seemed weird to you?
She seems like Elsa.
There's this voice. Voice? What does that mean?
Now, is there a let it go moment in this film, James?
That's the problem. I think the first film, it's a really tough bar to set, in that the first film was sensational and really a kind of moment in pop culture history. So what I'm saying is, is Frozen 2 that other moment in pop culture history? I don't think so. Is it a really good, really engaging, really funny, really well animated family movie? Absolutely. And it just happens to have come after just a really sort of landmark in animated movies. I don't know if there is as memorable a moment as Let It Go in this film, but there is a lot of fun to be had. And I think it is one of those movies that will draw everyone together, which I think is probably what we need at this moment.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, mate. Very much so. So Disney Plus, it is Disney's Netflix. It goes live from when's this again, James?
From Tuesday, I believe, March 24th.
Yeah, Tuesday, March 24th it is. That's when Disney Plus goes live. In the meantime, Sky saying they will now bring the cinema to you, going to make a range of movies available in your home on the same day as what would have been their global premieres in cinemas around the world, and we'll begin with the DreamWorks animation Trolls. So more information from Sky and your satellite provider of that announcement. James, really appreciate that this morning. Thank you so much. What are you doing with yourself at the moment? Are you in self-isolation? Are you able to get out to see any movies at all, or are you doing everything from the comfort of your home?
It's mostly from home. As we said, most of the cinemas are closed. I am working with a lot of independent cinemas, because obviously, like every independent cinema, every independent business, it's a worrying time ahead. And there's a lot of schemes on Twitter and things like that, how you can support if there's a cinema near you. You're talking buying memberships and things like that. So I'm doing a lot of work in terms of sharing that message. And also, people still need movies to watch. It's just a smaller screen.
Good stuff. James, great to hear from you. Speak again next week. Stay healthy, stay safe. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
James Luxford, Radio Times, Metro newspaper, and with us here on BBC CWR.
BBC CWR.
Make a difference.